Okay, welcome back to the channel. So we're making this isometric room. In previous videos we created the room itself. Then we did the hardwood floors. Last video we did the baseboard and the crown molding to show you how that was created. So the next video we're going to do here is we're going to put a window in this wall. This room needs a window. So we're going to start by adding a cube, and I'm going to grab that, move it up the z-axis, and I can hit N on my keyboard to have this menu come out here. And I'm just going to give this some dimensions. I kind of roughly know the size I want the window to be. So I want it to be 35 inches wide and 45 inches tall. And just for housekeeping, I'm in the United States, or sorry, I'm in North America. Actually, not in the United States. I'm in Canada. But I'm using imperial, and I'm using inches. And the reason I'm doing that is I kind of know room dimensions and window dimensions in imperial sizes because that's how we do it here in North America. I do think metric is a better system, but that's besides the point. So here we are. I think I'm going to make that 30, not 35, 30. Okay, so that is going to be the size of our window. And I'm just going to bring this on a straight on view to position this window. So I'm going to grab it and move it along the y-axis somewhere like that, maybe over a little bit like that, and then I grab it and move it the z-axis something like that. So that's where my window is going to be positioned. Now I'm going to grab it, move it along the x-axis so it goes through the wall. So you can see it's on both sides of the wall there, and you can see my scale's off. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my scale. So the next thing we're going to do is a Boolean operation, and the Boolean is going to be done to the walls of the room, not the window. So we're going to go to modifiers, add modifier. It's under generate, Boolean. And there's three types of Booleans. There's an intersect, a union, a difference. That we're going to use a difference. So it's going to sort of subtract the two objects. So we're going to use this eyedropper, and we're going to select this block. Now it looks like nothing happened. But if I go up here and I hide this cube, you can see now there's a hole in the wall. So we'll go ahead and apply that modifier. And we actually don't need this cube anymore. It's not used. Once the Boolean operation has been complete, you really don't need the object you used to make the hole. So now we got this room. So now I'm going to tap into edit mode, into edges. And I'm going to select all the edges of this hole in the wall. And I'm going to do a E to extrude and S to scale. And I'm just going to something like that. We're kind of making the window trim right now. So we're going to go, staying edit mode, but we'll go to faces. And we're going to select all these faces. Like that. Now I'm going to hide this crown molding, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to go to the top view. Top. So I want the trim on the window to be as thick as this baseboard. So you can kind of see the baseboard. We're looking down from the top. And this little thing, this little lip here is actually the baseboard. So I'm going to E to extrude on the x-axis. I'm going to move it out something just a little bit further than the baseboard. Something like that. I like that. Okay. So now we have sort of the thickness, and we're going to stay in edge mode. I'm going to select this inner edge. Actually, we're going to go into edge mode. We're in face mode. So into edge mode, hold down the option key, and it'll select all of these. Now I'm just going to zoom in here and show you what I'm going to do. So I can hit G to grab, and then hit B, and B is kind of like a snapping feature, and it's going to grab onto a vertice, and then I'm just going to drag it back. So I'm going to undo that. So this is, I want to drag these edges back to this edge. So G to grab, B, and it's going to lock onto a vertice, and then I'm just going to drag it back and then click to accept it. So now you can see my trim kind of has this kind of like window trim. It's got this angle to it. So while I've got this edge selected, I'm going to select the outer edge as well. So Shift and Option. So now I have the inner edges selected. I want to put a bevel in this, so I'm going to do Command B, and I'm just going to move my mouse until I get a bevel. I'm going to roll my mouse wheel forward to add more loops to it, so it's kind of more rounded. So I'm going to click to accept that, and I'm just going to take a look at it in object mode. That looks good. So it's taking away the hard edges, and nothing in the real world has our hard edges like that. So I'm going to go back into edge mode in edit. I'm going to select this inner edge that we just created. Hold down the option key, it'll select all of them. I'm going to do F to fill, and then P to separate this into its own object. So you can see it over here. So go into object mode, and we'll now select that. So now I'm going to call this window. It's good to name things to stay organized. So I'm going to tab into face mode, and I can do Command R, and I'm going to put an edge loop, and the edge loop kind of divides this face in half. So I'm going to accept that. I'm going to go into face, and I'm going to delete this bottom face. So X to delete faces. So now I've got this half window. So I'm going to do I to inset and something like that. And then I'm going to do Command R to add an edge loop here, and a Command R, click to accept that, Command R, edge loop there. Now I want to, so I'm going to show you what not to do. So if I select these and I do a Command B to bevel, roll my mouse wheel back, you see how these go to points? I don't want that. So I'm going to escape. I wanted to get rid of these edge loops here. So I'm going to select, holding down Shift and selecting all of them. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to not delete but dissolve those edges. So they're gone now. So now if I select these, holding down Shift and select all these edges, Command B to bevel, and then roll my mouse wheel back because I don't want that extra loop in there. And I want these to be about the same thickness as the perimeter we just created with the inset feature. So I like that. So I'm going to click to accept that. I'm going to tab into face mode, and I'm going to select all these. And we already have the inner one selected. You can see we're making a window frame. Obviously, it looks like that. I'm going to hit P to separate this into its own object. So over here, we now have, so into object mode, we now have this. And at the moment, I'm going to hide these walls just so we can get a look at what we got. So now it's really thin, right? So I'm going to add a modifier to that, a solidifier. And again, I'm in Imperial, so I'm going to make it 1 inch thick. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. So back on this, so this here is actually the window frame. This here is the window panes. Now the window panes, I want to put it in the middle of this frame. So I'm going to do G to grab, X axis, and I'm going to go to X-ray mode so I can see what I'm doing. Actually, maybe not X-ray mode. I just want to see. So there's a kind of a lip on the inside and the outside. That's close enough for what I'm trying to accomplish. So I like that. So I'm going to apply this solidify modifier. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to combine these objects into one. So select them both. So select one, hold Shift, select the other one, go to Object and Join. So now it's one thing. And while I'm here, I'm going to add some material to this. So I want the frame to be white. So that's that. And then I'm going to tab into Edit Mode, Faces, and I'm going to select these 4 faces. I'm going to add a material here, New, and I'm going to change this to glass. And while these are selected, I hit Assign. So now if I go into Object Mode, and you can see we have glass. Like you get the idea. So now I'm going to bring back my walls. And what I want to do now is actually, I'm going to hide walls for a minute. I'm going to duplicate this. So Shift D. So now we have 2 windows, and I'm going to grab this and move it down the Z axis. Now, what I want one of these windows to slide behind the other. So I'm going to do a G to grab and B, because I want to snap this edge to that, to right there. You can kind of see what I've done. So see, this window kind of sits behind that. So if I do G to grab it and move it up the Z axis, you can see it kind of slides up behind it, like you would think a window should. So I'm going to bring back these walls. Now, one problem is I want these, you can see they kind of sit too far into the room. So I'm going to go to the top view, and I'm going to grab both of these windows, and I'm going to G to grab on the X axis. I'm going to move these back something like that. That looks good. See, there's a little lip around the inside there. And, I might move it back just a little more. G to grab X. There. That's kind of what I'm looking for. A little edge there. Something to catch a shadow. So you can tell there's some depth to this. So I like that. So there, I'll bring back my crown molding. And that is how you create a window for your isometric room. So if you like what you're watching, give it a like, thumbs up. Think of subscribing. It really helps my channel. I'm just getting started, but I really do appreciate the subscribers that I get. It really helps me get noticed. We're going to keep building this isometric room with every additional video. I think the next video, we're going to put some furniture in this room. I'm not sure what yet. Maybe a desk, maybe a chair. We'll see. But actually, you know what? Maybe some blinds for this window. That might be nice. But anyway, think of subscribing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.